within the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. With Ian Unsworth, I'm Jonathan Duran saying hello here from O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium. North Carolina Central and Delaware State, two teams that have their eyes on the postseason. Delaware State, they weren't thought to be there, but right now they lead the nation in rushing, and it's not even close.
They were at the bottom of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference preseason poll, but they have found 3, 4, even 5 different running backs that make it happen for them on the ground. We knew North Carolina Central and Trey Oliver were going to contend for a spot in the Celebration Bowl, maybe even the FCS playoffs, but Delaware State has busted onto the scene in a big way with Coach Deshaun Jackson leading the charge.
And we'll take a look at the running back comparison flashing up on the left side of your screen. You'll see from the visiting Hornets, Marquise Gillis, right now the leader within the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference in rushing yards.
Gillis has an amazing story. He battled through illness early in his career, worked his way back to playing shape, and only played a couple of snaps last season, but now in his grad year, he is reaping the rewards of Delaware State's rushing attack. You can say the same for Chris Mosley, who sat behind a couple of excellent running backs at North Carolina Central, Latrell Collier, Jamari Taylor, and now it's Mosley's time to shine.
And now we'll see them shine under the sunshine here at O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium. All the preparation put into action now here today for kickoff. An absolutely beautiful day here in Durham, North Carolina. North Carolina Central is going to receive the football first, which is a rarity for them. They like to be able to defer, kick the football, control the middle 4 minutes, as Coach Oliver likes to say, but the Eagles will get the ball first, as Delaware State will kick it away. With Ian Unsworth, I'm Jonathan Duran. We're so glad to have you with us here for the first game in the MEAC Conference in 2025. Return from Mekhi Wall with one step inside his own end zone. Able to crash through the first wave and take the ball up to the 24. And already extra pushing and shoving as players refuse to disengage. No flags thrown, but it might just set the tone for what we're going to see here today.
Certainly a lot of rah-rah pregame. Energy on both sides as fans filed in early. And both sides ready to compete inside the conference where Delaware State knows it was doubted in the preseason. Coach Jack has not let them forget it. He loves being the underdog, and he's trying to instill that into his team.
Yeah, he mentioned loving that underdog mentality, but how they performed in non-conference play, he said, well, we might be leaving that underdog role pretty soon. The Eagles on offense first. They motion the tight end Kyle Morgan from the slot off the line. Handoff here from Mosley, one of our players we talked about in the open. Tries to step out of the first tackle. He'll get maybe about one. You know that Delaware State is going to be keyed in on Mr. Mosley all day today.
It's no secret what either of these teams want to do. That's run the ball. Check out Brian Bates, 4 in white, and the rest of the Delaware State Hornets pursue on that outside zone.
We'll have our eyes in the backfield for both teams, but our impact players are definitely going to be coming from under center and outside for North Carolina Central. Walker Harris and Chance Peterson, that handshake connection, both of them from Heritage High School north of Raleigh. Pass goes to Peterson right on time. It'll be about 3rd and mid to gain.
Nice easy throw for Walker Harris. Let him get into a rhythm. Delaware State on film didn't do too much that's complicated defensively. Back there dropping into simple cover 2. They cleared it out with Nassim Cosby and found Peterson in the flat.
Peterson with his 32nd reception of the year. That puts him over 430 total yards this season. Walker Harris is making his way towards 2,000 passing yards in the season. Quick out pass to Morgan. And he's going to be short of the line to gain. It's going to be 4th and 1 at the 34 in Eagle territory.
Harris rushed that just slightly, and on 3rd down, defensive coordinator Brandon Blackman got a bit more exotic. Brought some extra players up to the line, faked pressure. All of them dropped out. Harris thought the blitz was coming and threw it away quickly.
And that's going to force the Eagles to go 3 and out on their first possession of the game. They bring out Brandon Bowman to punt it away. Deep to return is the freshman wide receiver Ryan Pelham Taylor. backpedaling inside his own 10. Got a lot of hang time with the wind pushing that one back. Trying to slip through the tackles and finally whipped down at about the 7. You never want to go backwards when you're receiving a punt, but strong winds push that one probably an extra 5 to 10 yards.
That's Jaden Jenkins, a redshirt senior back there fielding the punt. And to be quite frank, that's just one you can't catch. You have to let that go. Hope it rolls into the end zone as a returner. But if you take that chance and you get dropped in your own end zone, well, that creates even bigger problems.
And now Delaware State start this drive inside their own 10-yard line. Caden Bennett, graduate QB out of Reno, Nevada, will operate things, and on his left, he'll have Marquise Gillis. Motioning now James Jones, an extra back into the backfield. Handoff for Gillis. Nothing there. Eagles on him quickly. It looks like that was Christian Smith with the hit.
Delaware State averages 325 rushing yards per game. Now, mind you, they didn't play Murderers Row in the non-conference, but you know exactly what they want to do when they take the field offensively.
Another carry, sweeping outside is Jones. Gains about 3. Now, you talk about the non-conference schedule, you have to give some respect to U Albany, a game where they won. A pretty strong game for them. But you talk about the rushing yards that they have. They lead the next closest team, Jackson State, by about 60.
Coming off a homecoming game of their own where they put up 70 points against Southern Connecticut State. 600 yards of total offense. That'll help bump up those numbers.
Bennett to pass. Has time in the pocket. Safe catch over the middle. And that's enough for the first down. That's complete to Kyrie Benton, one of the impact players for Delaware State.
Eagles only rushed 3, dropped 8. Bennett, plenty of time to survey the field, and that's a nice job by Kyrie Benton, sitting down in the zone right in front of Max Urin, and he got past the sticks. That's something Kyle Morgan didn't do on the other side, and that's what kept North Carolina Central from converting.
So Delaware State is going to extend their drive, and they'll exchange personnel. Kyrie Benton had left the field. Now he comes back out. 5 wide, empty spread. Not often that we're going to see Delaware State in a package like this. They fake the screen. They go on the opposite side, but nothing is there.
So that was backup quarterback Jaden Surrey taking the snap, and they sent Bennett in motion, the orbit motion behind the quarterback. So certainly a feigned double pass, and I'm sure Delaware State will have something in their pocket for later on in the game. But that is a look they haven't put on tape, and something North Carolina Central and defensive coordinator Jesse Thompson are surely keeping track of.
These are the things that I love about college football. When you get able to get inventive in the offensive packages and the schemes. They go on the fake reverse carry here for Bennett. Another eye candy, eye wash moment there from Delaware State.
That's where Bennett really excels. 9 rushing touchdowns, only 3 through the air. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since the second game of the year. He's a great runner. He's very experienced. This is his 7th year of college football, so he can be patient with the ball in his hands, and he can wait for his offensive line to open up those lanes.
Hornets converted on their last 3rd down attempt. That pass complete to Bennett. It is now 3rd and 8. What does Coach Jackson and the Hornets have dialed up here? Bennett running out of time, able to avoid the first hit, and the pass incomplete over the middle, looking in the same place. And the Hornets are now forced to exchange to special teams.
Pressure from Mackay McCall and Thomas Johnson off the edge. Johnson gets a little piece of Bennett. His feet get skittery, and he misses the open receiver over the middle.
So the Hornets convert on their first 3rd down.
Always have to be aware of where number 10 in maroon and gray is on the field. He has wrecked opposing backfields.
High snap, just gets away. Punter goes down, no flag dropped. The ball will skip out of bounds at the 30, and finally a flag is dropped way upfield as a Delaware State player is inside North Carolina Central's bench. And the punter for Delaware State, Dyson Roberts, is still down here. His landing leg got brought down. There's a flag on the field. We're heading to break. We'll sort everything out when we come back. Eagles with the football as it stands when we return here to O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium. The signals from our referee, Toby Johnson. We have offsetting penalties on both North Carolina Central and Delaware State. As such, it will be North Carolina Central football at the 30-yard line. Dyson Roberts, the DSU punter, got some contact after he was coming down after launching the punt. Helped up, was able to walk off under his own power, seemed to be favoring one of his legs, so we'll see if he'll return. If it's not him, it'll be the freshman punter, Ghazi Karibi, to take over. With Ian Unsworth, I'm Jonathan Duran. Welcome here to a beautiful sunshiny day, mid-60s here at O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium. North Carolina Central on the football for the second time. They went 3 and out on their first drive. It started the same way with a handoff from Mosley, but nothing there. Quickly into the backfield. Our man to watch, Brian Bates.
Bates is the leading tackler on this Delaware State team. He's also the hype man. Watch him slash through that gap on the outside zone play, right in between Noah McKinney and Holly St. Millis, the right guard.
2nd and 12. Walker Harris 2 for 2 in passing. You'd think this would be a passing situation. The last pass was just short of the first down marker. A wide open Mosley. 2 on him. Gets hit hard. Lost the ball. Able to get back on it. But Wayne Favors, the second, wraps him up and won't let him go.
Delaware State drops back, and Harris takes the short option, but that is a heck of a hit from Favors. Aeneas Williams, preseason watch lister, and he's the most experienced on the outside of this crew of defensive backs.
So it's 3rd and long for North Carolina Central. And a stoppage here from the officials as we get things set. I see on the other side, Delaware State's bench has been pushed back.
Would not be surprised if it's a clock issue at some point here.
So the officials are getting together here, or referee is walking down, and we're heading to break. So we'll sort things out. Homecoming here at O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium, North Carolina Central and Delaware State. Delaware State, these are 2 teams that have the most wins in non-conference play. North Carolina Central with 5, Delaware State with 4, up there with South Carolina State. The Bulldogs will be taking on Norfolk State at about 2 p.m. The 2 teams that have a very strong resume through non-conference season.
Delaware State made some early statements, ripped off 3 straight wins, which they haven't seen up in Dover for a long time. North Carolina Central wrecked shop at a couple of well-known venues across the HBCU landscape. Went down to FAMU, put 45 on the Rattlers, and gave North Carolina A&T State another 60 ball.
A rivalry that goes back quite a ways. North Carolina Central quite happy to get the win there. Delaware State right now with their 4 wins under head coach Deshaun Jackson on their way to the most wins since 2022. They're able to pick up the win here today, and same if they pick up the win today, their first conference win since that same season. The Hornets right now have the Eagles in 3rd and long. It'll be Walker Harris to pass. Pressure comes in. The pass over the middle is complete. That's Chauncey Spikes. He gets to midfield, and that's a first down for North Carolina Central. Their first of the game.
Harris stood in there and delivered a dime. Delaware State dropped deep into zone, only rushed 3. Walker Harris's offensive line stands up in front of him and spikes over the middle on the dig route, wide open.
Delaware State was bringing some furious pressure all the way in, but the Eagles convert at midfield now. Harris to pass again with time. He finds Mosley. tight ropes the sideline, able to gain about 5. Chris Mosley, a quick target within the passing game. This is 19th reception of the year, over 220 yards and 2 scores.
Something he didn't do a whole lot in years past. Of course, in the past, he was a kick returner, he was a punt returner, explosive in that phase of the game, but now he's had a chance to showcase himself as a one-cut home run hitter. If he finds a seam in the line, he can be off like a shot.
Walker Harris has thrown 12 touchdowns this year, and he's spread the ball out to over 5 different receivers with a touchdown catch. Looking for one now for Spikes. Did he hold that in? No. Nearly able to bring that one down. Would have been a highlight catch, but Wayne Favors in tight coverage.
A little shaken up afterwards. That's his 5th pass breakup of the season.
Favors now down on his back. We saw him with that huge hit on Mosley earlier in the game, but now he's feeling the effects. 24 tackles, 16 solos, including one more, make it 17. As he brought down Mosley in the backfield, but shaken up now. Part of this Delaware State defense that we talked about is quite led by Brian Bates. Coach Deshaun Jackson talked about him as being a leader on the field. We'll talk about more of this Delaware State defense when we get back from the break. The Eagles pressuring into Hornet territory, looking to be the team that scores first. Under 7 minutes to go here, and a beautiful sunshiny day in Durham. Court, beautiful day to cap off a great homecoming week here at North Carolina Central University. Eagles facing 3rd and short, 2 yards to gain to make the first down. Handoff here from Mosley. Crashes through the hole. He's going to be short, right? They're close to the marker, and they will put him down short. It'll be 4th and 1. Now, we know what Deshaun Jackson would do in this situation. It's one of the most aggressive 4th down teams in the nation, and it looks like Coach Oliver's going to have the same thought to go for it here on 4th and 1.
6 for 11 on 4th downs this year. I would give it to number 1 and trust that veteran offensive line in front of him.
Jumbo set. I've got Luke Bracey behind the left tackle. Mosley breaks it forward. First down. Across the line. Second effort. And it looks like the officials will spot him down across the marker. So, quite interesting there. It looked like the first effort, he got across the line. He got whipped around and went backwards. And from that moment, the refs can then spot you where you go if you run back.
I think he was forced back by the defender, though. Forward progress on that first push around the left side behind Luke Bracey, as you called out, got Mosley that extra yard and a new fresh set.
So the Eagles, the first team to go for it on 4th down today, and I don't think they will be the last. As they motion Peterson across the formation. Eagles in Hornet territory. On the right side of the line, he gets 1.
This is going to be a physical football game. A slobber knocker, if you will. And guess who's in on the action again? Brian Bates. 4 in white and cherry red will be around the football all day. He's got 30 tackles over his last 3 games. Knows for the football. Someone that's been a leader from day one. 4 in the middle of your defense, right on the star at the 35, is Delaware State's best defender, and you can see it. He's the commander of the defense as well.
Coach Deshaun Jackson says he counts on him to be an enforcer in the second level of this Hornet defense, and he's also a great captain, as you mentioned. Harris looking skyward, has Peterson inside the red zone. And the Eagles on the attack.
Great corner route from Chance Peterson, slicing in front of Sam Scaife, Delaware State safety, and finding some space along the sideline. That's a great cover two-beater. Delaware State's been running a lot of that, shallow corners, deep safeties, so there's space behind the corners down the sideline.
Quick screen for Chauncey Spikes. So the Eagles go quickly there. Doesn't get much out of it, but a quick hitter to try to open up this Delaware State defense before they get set.
What the Hornets have done well is move to the ball in packs. They call themselves the Swarm Squad, and they find the football fast.
The Eagles will empty out the backfield here.
Keep an eye on Harris as a running option.
Harris pivots in the pocket, has time, and he throws this one away. Over the head of Quentin McCall. The Eagles will re-rack for third down.
McCall probably the fourth or fifth option. Might have turned it off just slightly, not expecting the football. And I don't think Walker Harris expected to have the time to get all the way across a full field lead from left sideline to right sideline.
Now the Eagle offensive line is getting their job done in pass protection, still trying to open things up for the run game. Last time that the Eagles were at home was against Division II Fayetteville State. And I think Fayetteville State really set the book on how to shut down the rushing offense for North Carolina Central. They held Mosley in check. The Eagles since then have been able to run quite well. As North Carolina Central is going to take
30 seconds in length.
a timeout here on third down. So this offense for North Carolina Central stalled out on their first drive. Getting it together here, Harris 7 for 9, 60 yards so far in this game. Now North Carolina Central's got to figure something out on how to score here in the red zone.
Pretty obvious passing situation on 3rd and 10. You are okay with not getting to the sticks here. If you can get 7, 8 yards, and you of course feel very comfortable with a redshirt senior quarterback at the helm, I would not be surprised if Trey Oliver keeps the offense on the field for 4th down. One thing to note, before the timeout, Chris Mosley was not in the game. A.J. Rogers, his backup, was behind Harris. Now with the timeout, you get Mosley an extra 30 seconds to catch his breath and get your best offensive weapon back in the game.
The Eagles will change into a different formation here. A bunched shotgun. And Mosley, as you mentioned, backed in on the right hip of Harris. Pressure comes in from the Hornets, looking for the end zone. Just off the hands of the Eagle receiver. That's Makai Wall. It'll be 4th down.
Great coverage from Wayne Favors right again. Locked and trailing on the hip of the receiver.
And the Eagles are going to take the 3 here. So the field goal unit out there, Caleb Robinson. Walker Harris will hold it. It'll be snapped by Jonathan Currian. This attempt from about 33 yards. Left hash mark. Snap and hold are clean. The kick is through the uprights, and the Eagles will score first with 3.5 minutes to go in this first quarter.
A solid drive for North Carolina Central. Stalls out slightly in the red zone, but I think they're starting to find the key to getting past Delaware State zone, which is take your medicine sometimes. Short gains, underneath throws will do just fine. The corners so far for Delaware State covering well in the back end. I'd like to see North Carolina Central mix in just a couple more play action passes because Mosley will be the threat. You'll keep eyes in the backfield that way, and then you can slip a Chauncey Spikes or slip an Asim Cosby behind an unsuspecting secondary.
That drive for the Eagles, 13 plays, 54 yards, 5 minutes and 56 seconds.
Delaware State's kick return team just went out on the wrong side of the field. Fellas, we still got 3.5 minutes left in the first.
Things that you just do not see every day. The Eagles hold on to the ball just about 6 minutes on that drive. That's one thing the Eagles are excellent at. They're very good at shortening the game because they hold on to the football longer than most teams in the nation. To return, Pelham Taylor and Julius Dominguez. Inside the end zone, take a knee for the touchback. So the Hornets got a big play on their last drive. Pass over the middle to Bennett. Able to get the first down, but not much more in it. Where do you see Delaware State going here in their second drive of the game?
Back to the bread and butter, the run game. Get Gillis and get James Jones a couple more touches. They're both on the field to start the second drive. Delaware State sat on the sideline for a long time. And when you're a running football team, the best way to work yourself into a lather is to run more and more plays.
Two-back set, a handoff here. Sweeping around the edge is Jones. Lowers his shoulder and keeps going all the way up to the 42-yard line. James Jones, one of the leading rushers for DSU. He has got 6 touchdowns this year. 42 carries for 522 yards coming into this one. He chews up a chuck ton.
Gillis on the quarterback's left is the bulldog. He'll run up the middle. Jones is the home run hitter.
Keeper for the QB as Bennett slides this one up over midfield. And here's this Delaware State rushing offense that we have seen, and now we get to see it in person.
And that's what you have to worry about. Not only do you have those 2 threats in the backfield, one's going left, one's going right, then you have to worry about Bennett pulling it himself and slicing straight through the middle of your defense. It's a triple option attack in its own right.
Delaware State with 2 big plus plays. Handoff here to a patient Gillis. He waits, but there's nothing there for him. Whipped to the ground by Tamondre Braxton.
Going to be a big day for the Eagles secondary. Tackling in run support will be key. Braxton firing off the edge, even though he's small, 5'10", 170. Not afraid to get his nose dirty.
Watching this Delaware State 2-back set, it reminds me a few years back with Howard University when they had Brennan Marion as an offensive coordinator, and he pioneered the go-go offense with the 2 offset backs. You just don't know where the ball is going to go. Excited to watch an evolution of that here. As Jones has nowhere to go, Max Uren keeps him tight to the line. It's 3rd and 10 DSU. They'll give him 1, 3rd and 9.
And when you only have 1 back in the game, you just can't do as much. Right now, North Carolina Central is not respecting the passing ability of Delaware State. It's man-to-man on the outside, and then you have got a heavy box. 7 or 8 guys all up near the offensive line expecting to run.
Jaden Jenkins is in now, and a flag dropped in the backfield against Delaware State.
Illegal formation, more than 11 players in formation, offense. 5-yard penalty, it's 3rd down.
And you can tell that at least one person is not very happy about that. Hornets will lose 5. It'll be 3rd and 14. Apologize for the language that came through here on the broadcast. But yeah, not often that you see a team break out with 12. Backed up, it'll be a passing situation for Bennett. Flushed out the pocket, rolling to his right. Airs over the middle, and that's nearly picked off. Flag thrown behind the play. Eric Adams got his hands on it and then nearly got DDT'd in midair.
Nathan Stewart had to turn into a defensive back.
Thomas Johnson and the Eagle defense hyped up for their stand. Still waiting to see what the penalty is going to be here for Delaware State.
Holding, offense number 71. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
The penalties piling up, even though this one is declined for Delaware State. We talked to Coach Jackson earlier this week. We asked him about some of the things that he learned being a first-time head coach, and he learned discipline, right? Delaware State at the start of the year had a lot of issues with penalties. They've halved them in their last 3 games. They're starting to pop up again here. Dyson Roberts is going to be hit as he lets this one go. Flag dropped, skips out of bounds. We'll see if this is going to be a roughing or running into. If it's roughing, it'll be a 1st down, and it looks like Dyson Roberts got the words that he wanted to hear. Second time today, the Eagles have sold out for a punt. The second time today, they have connected with Dyson Roberts.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Defense number 87, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
So the Eagles let the defensive stop go to waste as Dyson Roberts draws the penalty, gets hit for the 2nd time, gets flagged for the 1st time on the hit. How about Dyson Roberts made waves a few years back at the Celebration Bowl for an RPO of his own, a run punt option, transfer from South Carolina State. We saw him run up to the line, and make a decision on whether to kick it or run with it. He's got some wheels.
And he's not afraid to take a lick or two.
Fresh set of downs for Delaware State. Jones brought down in the backfield. Christian Smith. The Eagle and a Hornet tied up after the play. That's Braxton and Edward Core. No flag thrown. Again, we saw in the opening kickoff, these two teams have been tangled up.
Jones doing some jawing as well, but North Carolina Central is stringing out these run plays, forcing Delaware State's running backs to bounce the ball outside. There's no push in the interior.
2nd down and 15 for Delaware State. Two-back set. Bennett to pass. Pressure comes in. He loses his helmet. Throws this one, and he's not able to connect. As running up the seam was Terrence Roan, and it's now going to be 3rd down. He ducked under a huge hit that was coming in, and Bennett's going to have to leave as Jaden Soray will take over for 3rd down.
Great work on the interior from Wisdom, Sims, and Johnson. Thomas Johnson's going nuts. He is absolutely fueled for this game. Someone who grew up playing for Delaware State's assistant head coach, Travis Clark, at Lawndale High School out in California. He's got personal connections with Deshaun Jackson and a lot of the coaches on this Delaware State team, so this game means something more to him.
As a player that Coach Jackson mentioned as a special player, and we've seen that performance so far this year. 15 minutes in the books. 3 points for North Carolina Central as they try to secure a win on their homecoming. Stadium, North Carolina Central right now has the home fans pretty happy. They lead at 3-0 after the first 15 minutes of play. You see Deshaun Jackson and these Delaware State Hornets on the opposite sideline trying to play spoilers for this homecoming experience for North Carolina Central. With Ian Unsworth, I'm Jonathan Duran. As Delaware State has about I-85 to go here. It's 3rd and 22. From the 50-yard line, they've got to get to the 28. Bennett looking for room, spins away, able to stay in the pocket away from Johnson. Still running, and he's going to try to get the yards on his own. Vassaled down from behind. It's caught for North Carolina Central. Makai McCall, but a flag thrown in the backfield. It's Jaden Soray in on this one.
Delaware State will bring in Soray at times, thought of as a bit more of a pure passer.
And the officials look like they're looking towards North Carolina Central. Are they going to accept this, or are they going to take the 4th down with a shortened yardage? And even if it is 4th down, it's still going to be about 4th and 15. The ref's looking for confirmation on whether he wants to accept or decline.
After further discussion, there is no foul on the play for an illegal blindside block. It's 4th down.
All right, well, there's nothing to figure out. So it's 4th down. 4th and, yeah, it's going to be about 4th and 15. Delaware State, we know they're aggressive. They're in plus territory, and I see 0 Caden Bennett coming onto the field.
He tells his offensive line to stick around too. 5 wide. This could be a situation where you just chuck it up, hope for the best, and if you throw a deep interception, so be it. It's just as effective as a punt.
Timeout. I think this will be from North Carolina Central. That's their 2nd of the half now. This is a very unorthodox 4th down situation. You're not expecting to be on the field on 4th down. 4th and long this early in the game. And you saw the North Carolina Central, they were organizing. Max Urin was trying to get everybody in place, but they didn't really seem to be quite settled.
Well, the most important thing in this situation for NCCU is don't jump the gun, don't commit any penalties, and stay smart to get the ball back.
Back with 4th down in a moment. In plus territory, one of the most aggressive teams in the nation and within the conference. Caden Bennett will trigger this one into motion. on the hard count, trying to draw the Eagles offside. Gets extra signals. And it looks like they're just going to let the clock bleed dry and take the timeout here. So not quite the same as Sunday when we saw Patrick Mahomes under center and game the system by saying this never works before handing it off for first down. Delaware State tried to draw the Eagles offside, and it looks like they're going to take the penalty here for the delay of game rather than use the timeout. So it'll be 4th and 20 as they punt.
Well, one offsides penalty wasn't going to do you the job. What this does do is give Dyson Roberts a little, if he wants to pull out that R punt O like he did in the Celebration Bowl. But you just need more room as a punter to let that leg go.
Mekhi Wall back deep to receive. Eagles not as aggressive. A big spiraler. This will touch down in the end zone. Touchback for the Eagles. Dyson Roberts hangs his head. He thought he was able to hit that one a little better as he jogs off. So the Eagles take over here. Their first possession of the second quarter. This run game, as we highlighted between these two teams, as being tops in the nation, tops in the league. Well, North Carolina Central so far in this game have a grand total of 9 feet on the ground, 3 yards.
Both teams defensively came in expecting the run. North Carolina Central quickly got out of the run phase and got into quick passes. Delaware State dropping deep into zone. Hornets don't want to get beat over the top, so Walker Harris happy to toss it underneath.
Pistol set as the Eagles start from the 20. Handoff from Mosley. Finds a gap. So he's still on his feet, and there's daylight in front of him to the 40-yard line. Flag thrown in the backfield, and a flag thrown near the sideline at the play's conclusion. So we'll see how these penalties will wash out.
Something near the line, there certainly could be a hold on that outside stretch play. But if that's an early flag on North Carolina Central, I think the Eagles got bailed out by Desheen Jackson on the back end, knocking Mosley out of bounds late.
There are fouls by both teams. Holding. Offense number 55, 10-yard penalty. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, 15-yard penalty from the succeeding spot, automatic first down.
So a net of 5 yards gain for North Carolina Central after a about 15-yard ripper from Christian Mosley, his most successful of the day. Eagles lose 10, they gain 15, automatic first down.
10 penalties a game for Delaware State. They average 70 penalty yards a game as well. And those are the kind of things that keeps an offense in phase.
You never want to let a team, especially like North Carolina Central, with how explosive that they can be on offense, and have extra chances and to extend their drives. You see the average penalty yards for Delaware State, almost 100 per game. It's the Eagles on the play action. Harris, pass complete to the sideline. That's Van Gates. Makes the man miss, and he'll run down the sideline to the positive 40-yard line. Eagles into Hornet territory for the second time today.
Full shot on the far sideline. Delaware State again in cover 2. And Walker Harris puts a beautiful ball in between the corner and the safety.
Walker Harris moving along, getting close to about 100 yards passing in this contest, making his way towards 2,000 for the season.
Eagles wanted to go fast, but there's no football on the field.
The ball finally spotted. And the Eagles ready to go from about the 37. Handoff from Mosley. Jump cut up the middle. Shrugs off the first hit, and he'll get about 6.
Tackling is starting to get a little shoddy for Delaware State. They're going for impact, but not wrapping up.
2nd and 3 from the 30. And impact hits can hit if you're able to hit at the correct part of the player. But for somebody like Christian Mosley, strongly built, a low center of gravity, is going to take a lot more than just one hit to knock him off balance. Harris has time, out of the pocket, follows his blockers forward, and he's going to lose about 2. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Probably one you just have to throw away. Nothing open downfield. Harris has had time early in this game to create, to dance around in the pocket, but the rush of Delaware State disciplined, holding their lanes, and not letting Harris find a crease.
So 3rd and 6. Eagles trying to find a way to extend the drive. They got 3 the last time they were officially in the red zone. It's Harris on the drop, on the screen. That's intercepted by the D lineman for Delaware State. Jaden Mifflin, happy birthday. And a change for Delaware State. Hornets have it at midfield.
Delaware State sniffs out the screen. Credit to Mario Keenan for getting his big paw up and knocking that ball in the air. And the Hornets trailing behind, keeping an eye on Mosley, who was leaking out of the backfield. Win that tip drill.
Mifflin, the redshirt junior, out of the first state. Hails from Lincoln, Delaware. Gets his first interception of the year. And the Hornets with a chance now to either tie or take the lead with a bonus possession. They go on the wrap here. Gillis, no, is kept by the quarterback Bennett. Able to slip through to the second level and trots out of bounds. Gains about 12. First down, Hornets.
North Carolina Central actually had that play diagnosed. Jesse Thompson ran a near side corner blitz. Tamondre Braxton coming right towards Bennett, who juked him out of his shoes.
And this was the thing that Coach Jackson told us about the run game for Delaware State. So keep it on the ground. Here is Gillis. He explodes up the middle, runs through 2 hits, and gets another 10-plus gainer. Talked about this Hornet offense saying we can do anything that we want offensively in the run game. Inside zone, outside zone, run power. And he's warned people that if you don't guess right, it's going to be a long day. And right now, they've got the Eagles looking at them like a calculus textbook. They're giving them problems.
Coach Jack may be a wide receiver, but he is not shy about letting you know that the run game is coming and telling you have to stop it.
A stoppage here as Delaware State is changing personnel.
That's not going to take you a calculus textbook to figure that one out.
Yeah, unsure why we stopped the timers.
I think the chains got tangled up on the far side. It's my best guess.
Everything's sorted out now. The fancy digital down and distance markers. Love to see those. Hornets retain in this 2-back set. Handoff for Jones. Slides forward. A flag dropped in the secondary right around where the ball was gained at the 25.
That penalty decline resulted in the play as a first down.
It was offside against North Carolina Central, and Delaware State just continues to chew North Carolina Central apart on the ground.
Those people movers up front starting to build some momentum. Justice Johnson, the grad center. Jonathan Tejada, senior left guard. Elijah Payne, the junior left tackler, really getting some push.
Those are all 3 linemen listed over 300 pounds. Back, quick pass on the screen. Incomplete. That pass was indeed forward as the Eagles were going after it for a second chance. Terrence Roan was the intended receiver.
Little RPO. Bennett sees the heavy box and tries to slip it out. North Carolina Central would have had it covered, but Bennett threw a sinker at it.
It's 3rd and short for Hornets approaching the red zone for the first time today. 2 yards to gain to extend the drive. Eagles bring pressure. Gillis around the left side has enough for the first down. They'll spot it at about the 22, and the Hornets keep rolling along. Getting close to about 80 yards on the ground here at about 10 minutes to go in this first half.
Right back to the strong side, the left side of the offensive line. A lot of offensive lines will have a strong side, normally the left side, the power side of the line, and then the right side is the speed side. Amari Francis, Daniel Olakayan will pull around and try to set up some blocks at the second level.
Pistol set for the Hornets as they try to put the ball in the end zone. Gillis not able to shuffle away from the hit from North Carolina Central. Wisdom Sims in the backfield.
8 NCCU players loading up the box. DBs right behind them getting involved. I don't think anybody on the North Carolina Central defensive side is afraid of Caden Bennett throwing the football.
Penalized half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And they do get Sims for the face mask. You saw it early on as he was trying to make the tackle. I don't think he actually got the face mask itself, but he got the top of the helmet. And you saw the reaction of the move. And free yardage for DSU, now officially in the red zone, where they find success. 22 of 27 in the final 20 yards of the field. Bennett on the pass near side. That's complete out of the first tackle. And the football comes loose. He picks it up and takes it in. Touchdown, Hornets. Najee Lawley lost it, gets 6 points.
He got loose because North Carolina Central stayed committed to the run. It was 2-on-2 on the outside. And Lawley, even though he dropped the pigskin, scooped it back up thanks to a fortuitous bounce. Great hands from Cameron Williams. Almost pokes that football out, but it stays the course, trickles right down the sideline.
Everything went his way. The ball bounced right back up to him. He didn't go out of bounds, stayed on his feet. And the Hornets, with their 23rd touchdown inside the red zone this season, tack on the extra point, and they now lead 7-3. A big drive for DSU that came after the unexpected interception. Hornets lead by 4. Making our way towards halftime here from O'Kelly Riddick Stadium. Seven to 3. Their warm-up shirts before the game, they say score first. They didn't score the first points of the game, but they have the first touchdown.
Came after a sudden change. Walker Harris throwing a deflected interception, and Delaware State's run game immediately kicked it into gear. Now averaging almost 5 yards a carry, and after North Carolina Central commits to stopping the run, they toss a screen outside, and Najee Lawley gets in for 6.
Now Van Gates and Wall to return. They'll watch this one sail over their heads. A touchback for the Eagles. They'll start at the 25. 7-3 Delaware State. That last drive, 7 plays, 58 yards, and it just took them 2.5 minutes. Much different from the modus operandi for North Carolina Central. Likes to hold on to the football and go slowly. The Eagles trying to finish off what they started on their last drive. Went all the way down to about the 35-yard line before the INT.
North Carolina Central has found success throwing the ball down the sideline.
Saw a big catch to Van Gates to help with the Eagles in attacking territory. Handoff here from Mosley on the wrap. Slides through the first hit and dances to the sideline. Flags thrown in the second level. And Chauncey Spikes is very frustrated. He feels like he was in a legal blocking position. Coach Oliver is agreeing with him. But 2 flags dropped. I think this might be a hold against Spikes.
North North Carolina Central's coaching staff came flying down the field.
Doing the run, holding, offense number 0, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
Yeah, Spikes absolutely could not believe it. One more look here.
Frustrating for NCCU because everything went well at the line of scrimmage. Spikes outside the chest plate. Clearly a hold on Anthony Hebert.
So the Eagles lose the yardage, but it'll be 1st and 9. Handoff here from Mosley. Not getting away from the hit in the backfield this time around. There for the hit, Samuel Corpoy.
Monmouth transfer flying up the field on the edge. North Carolina Central tried that same outside wrap, pulling the guard and the tight end to follow. Corpoy diagnosed it, saw Mosley on the left side of Walker Harris, guessed the run was going right, and guessed correctly.
2nd down and 15 for North Carolina Central. With a 4-wide spread, the Hornets look ready to bring pressure. They do bring 6. Quick pass outside from Mosley. Gets just about to the original 1st down marker. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Can't try to pick it up all at once. If you're North Carolina Central, you found holes in Delaware State's zone early on. But now that DSU is starting to turn up the heat, the pass protection has to be solid.
So the Eagles trying to find a way to convert here, keep this offense going. 3rd and 10. They motion the tailback into the slot. That's Mosley at the top of the formation. And a whistle before the snap. Got down to about 2 seconds before. And if it's a timeout for North Carolina Central, it's their final one of the half. So this one is taken by Delaware State. And that'll send us to a quick break. The Hornets leading North Carolina Central 7-3, trying to grab an elusive win at O'Kelly Riddick Stadium. Stout defense today. Eagles trailing after the touchdown on Delaware State's last drive. Hornets just used the timeout. They have 2 remaining. North Carolina Central with 1, with 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half of play.
Before the timeout, Del State was showing pressure.
Harris identifying the Del State defense. Back to pass. Airs it out. Has a receiver open. And what a grab and what a way to hold on. Chance Peterson took a huge hit. But he stays up. Jadarius Perkins not able to separate Peterson from the football.
And credit North Carolina Central's offensive line picking up a 5-man blitz, giving Harris time to throw. That is an absolute dime.
And that's a big trust and on-time throws to go quickly to Spikes. Gets about 2. That last pass that was complete for the 1st down came out of that trio route combination. They had the inside slot receiver Peterson coming out on that corner, and Harris just trusted that he was going to be where he needed to be and just feathered that one over the defense.
Those 2 are high school teammates. Peterson's 1 text away if Walker Harris ever wants to throw in or out of season. Connection that's been building for a long time.
2nd and 8. Mosley follows his blockers, 2nd level. Gets enough for the 1st down before he is ushered into the white paint. Anthony Hebert sends him out of bounds, but enough for the 1st down.
Another outside zone. North Carolina Central's bread and butter today. Means the offensive line aren't necessarily hat on hat. They're trying to occupy a space and get those white jerseys out of the way.
Another handoff here from Mosley. Jump cut, gets past the line. He's going to get about 8, and this is the Chris Mosley that we were expecting to see early on in this game after Delaware State held the Eagles to just 3 rushing yards in the 1st quarter.
North Carolina Central starting to pick up a push. Center Noah McKinney snapped and then wrapped around the outside of left tackle. That's a tough task for a center, but when you've got a senior like McKinney, first team All-MEAC selection, very athletic at 285 pounds, you can ask him to do a lot more than the average center would.
2nd and 4, play action. Harris has a receiver. That's enough for first down and enough for the touchdown. Naseem Cosby dances away from the hit and dances into the end zone. The Eagles now pull in front to the jubilation of this homecoming crowd.
We were asking for it. Where's the play action? Cosby down the sideline, past the corner, in front of the safety, and one missed tackle. Samuel safe, can't wrap up, and Cosby takes it to the house.
Caleb Robinson on for the extra point. And he strikes it true through the uprights. And North Carolina Central has now regained the lead. They're up 10-7. Last drive, 8 plays, 75 yards, 4 minutes and 5 seconds. The Eagle offense finally finding its gear.
And it's a combination of everything. The short passes, the runs from Mosley, and the play action, all working in tandem. North Carolina Central's offensive line finally got comfortable run blocking. Delaware State in its 4-2-5 was bringing a lot of DB types, smaller players to the ball on the outside. NCCU's offensive line was getting to the second level on that last drive, clearing out linebackers, clearing out safeties, and giving Mosley plenty of green turf to run through.
Walker Harris has now completed 11 passes in this game to 6 different receivers. This is what's tough about stopping this North Carolina Central pass game, is that you just don't know where the ball is going to go.
There's no number one option, and sometimes that's a bad thing for an offense when you don't have a wide receiver one on the outside. But in today's day and age, and given what Delaware State's presenting to NCCU, where the short passes are open, it'll certainly work.
Kyrie Benton being told to stay back, and he follows his instructions. And he takes a knee for the touchback. And again, special teams getting mixed up here on the field. The referees doing the job to keep the game moving on, letting the players sort things out, getting them disentangled and sent to their respective sidelines.
It's a whole lot of pent-up energy on both sides. Players who maybe get 10 snaps a game, they are ready to rumble when you put them out there.
The energy we see spilling out on the field here. I tell you what, when I walked into the stadium this morning, the energy was already high. You could just feel the electricity in the air, and this game is not disappointing. Hornets looking to follow up a touchdown from their last drive with more points. They start from the 25. Handoff here for Gillis. Ducks through the left side, gets about 3. Gillis steps out. James Jones comes in. Handoff here for Jones. Cuts right up the middle. Pushes the pile, and he'll get about 5. It'll be 3rd and 2.
North Carolina Central almost over pursuing on that last run play. You see the big bodies go right. Everybody in maroon flocks towards that area. And Jones, the transfer from Louisiana Monroe, has the sense to make a cutback and plow forward.
Elijah Payne, the left tackle for DSU, was slowly moving after the last play. The hand just went off again. That's enough for the first down. Jones able to skip across the line to gain. Keep an eye here on Jones, and yeah, he's down now. Came up limping after the second down run, and now he's going to take a seat. Elijah Payne, the junior left tackle out of Las Vegas. You mentioned that left side, strong side for Delaware State. He's been instrumental to a lot of their success in the run game.
As has offensive line coach Eugene Chung, who has brought this group together. Some of them transfers, some of them mainstays at DSU, and connected 5 as one. Deshaun Jackson right by the side of his left tackle. Coach Jack didn't list a backup left tackle on this week's depth chart. They have Jeremy Edwards listed as the backup right tackle, so they could bring him in, maybe swing Olalekin over to left tackle or bump a guard outside. Good to see Payne back up and moving off the field, but certainly looks worse for wear.
Both teams are being instructed to break their huddles and head to the field. The Eagles defense out there first, and now we'll have to answer the question for Delaware State, who's going to take that spot on the left side. And it looks like it's going to be 58, Olalekin, who will move over. Tucking down at right tackle is going to be number 71, Bruce Fomby. Faked handoff, Bennett not able to get away from Max Uren. Threw the stiff arm, but it wasn't strong enough.
Running right over that new left tackle, Olalekin. A redshirt sophomore who has some seasoning on him, but right tackle to left tackle, different technique, different blocking assignments, and again, you go from the speed side of the line to the power side of the line. There's a lot of responsibility when you're running right at the back.
Big pass to the sideline. That is broken up at the last second. Intended for Nathan Stewart. North Carolina Central able to stamp things out. Jazir Dukes able to knock it down.
Dukes never gets his head around to look at the football. Watches Nathan Stewart's hands go up and makes a well-timed swipe.
I want to correct myself. Playing right tackle now for Delaware State is Takai Wallace, redshirt sophomore out of Prince George's County, Maryland. 3rd and 11. Delaware State needs to get up to the 46. Bennett pass right at the marker. Where were they spotted? It's complete, but he's out. Where? Put him down at the 42. And it was complete to Najee Lawley. He's got the touchdown reception in this game.
Lawley's route never got to the first down marker.
It's 4th and 4, and the Hornets are going for it on their own side of the field. Hornets will call timeout here. That's their second of the half. 2:21 to go. We'll have one more quick stoppage at the 2-minute timeout. But both of these teams felt each other out in the first quarter of play. The offense is now finding ways to attack Delaware State. The run game coming through. We've seen some big passes from Caden Bennett. Almost a huge connection to Stewart. North Carolina Central able to open things up as well. If you're the Eagles, you would have thought that you would have had at least 3 more points in this game if it hadn't been for the batted interception.
A look at Coach Jack there, who's very proud of his offense and what they've already been able to accomplish. I think he's hoping for a bit more execution in the pass game as Delaware State continues forward. North Carolina Central's front line hasn't brought much pressure, but Bennett and Sare, when he's been in, have not had much time to throw. Coverage has been sticky downfield.
His 5th year as a head coach, 1 national championship under his belt back in 2022. Able to lead this team by example of being a player that has been an All-American at 2 separate positions as a punter and as a defensive back. Knows what it takes to win national championships, not just here at North Carolina Central, but at other institutions as well. Stops at North Carolina A&T, at Southern University. And Deshaun Jackson was talking about the things that he's learned about being a leader is also leading by example. And for him, it's just the fact that he has the NFL experience. And he's able to talk to these players, to these young student athletes, and say, I have been at the top level. You can trust me in what I'm telling to you. The same way of how he's been working to motivate Marquise Gillis.
He points out Chris Mosley's numbers pretty consistently to Gillis. He remembers when he was in the NFL and he looked at Antonio Brown's receiving totals, Julio Jones's receiving totals, and said, I have to meet those guys. I have to live up to that standard that they're setting. And he motivates his players the same way.
And that motivation has been showing on the field for Delaware State. They definitely caught a lot of people's attention, especially my attention, when they got that win over the University of Albany for their first home game of the year, 37-32. A big win on the road at St. Francis, a close loss to Sacred Heart, as well as a team that has definitely put the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference on notice. You mentioned earlier in our broadcast that they were projected, picked by the coaches and the SIDs among the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. When they do the preseason poll, they thought they were going to finish at the bottom, and they were showing that they were a contender to get one of those tickets to go to Atlanta. We look here at the preseason poll. South Carolina State, number 1, followed by North Carolina Central to be expected, but Delaware State definitely running against the tide.
Coach Jack still remembers some of those media members that took them to finish last. He pointed them out during the MEAC coaches conference call last Monday. Some of those media members have come out and admitted that they were wrong to Coach Jack, and he appreciates that.
Accountability matters. Right now, Delaware State is considering what to do on 4th and 4, and you look here on the near side of North Carolina Central's defense as well, as they're trying to figure out what they're going to do as well. Delaware State going forward here on 4th and 4, not very surprising. Coach Jackson mentioned that he wants his team out there, and when they have the ball, he wants them to score. So they have actually respotted the football. I think that's what took us so long here. It was 4th and 4. They've moved the ball up to the 49 in Del State territory. Need to get to the Eagles' 49. Bennett trying to get the Eagles to jump, and they refuse to budge.
What now?
And we've got our 2-minute timeout. 10-7, North Carolina Central. State is still going for it. They were going to go for it when it was 4th and 4. And now that the distance has been halved, they're going to try to get it done. Bennett in the backfield with Gillis on his right side. Gillis with the carry. It's going to be close. North Carolina Central is ready to send their offense out. Delaware State is pointing forward. And they will signal first down Delaware State by the slimmest of margins.
Second look. I think it might have been a generous spot from the line judge.
Ball gets respotted and the clock will roll. Under 2 to play. Gillis, a stutter step in the backfield. Explodes second level, runs through 2 hits and gets about 11. Marquise Gillis, what a dynamite of a running back.
You see the patience of a graduate student who has played a lot of football and watched a lot of film. Lets the offensive line go to work and follows his block.
One. Bennett with an open man, but this one's picked off. North Carolina Central able to take away the football from Delaware State. Looks like Jelani Vassell gets the INT.
Bennett had Lawley. He's looking there all the way, but the pocket collapsed, and Bennett didn't trust his eyes. Wally was open, streaking down the sideline, but the quarterback double and triple pumping left that football to hang.
Jelani Vassell, the redshirt senior from Tampa, Florida, back on the depth chart. Hasn't featured much this year, but he's made up for it. 27 tackles, and that's now his second interception of the year.
If Bennett just sets his feet and lets that thing rip, throws a laser down the sideline, Delaware State might be looking at 6.
But instead, it's North Carolina Central with the football with 83 seconds and 1 timeout. Walker Harris, pocket collapsing. Throws to the sideline, caught with 1 foot in bounds by Spikes.
Falls out, stops the clock. North Carolina Central has a timeout in its back pocket, but you really prefer not to use it until you're in plus territory.
It'll be 2nd and 3. Time to get everybody set and take a breather. Harris, quick out to Mosley. Steps out of bounds. Shy of the 30, but that's enough for a first down. Walker Harris right now taking what's given to him. 2 quick out passes to the near side sideline for a left-handed quarterback. Easy way to look.
13 for 17 through the first half.
1st and 10 from the 30. Harris on the draw. Mosley running. Has daylight. Takes it into plus territory up to the 47. What a time to call the draw.
Fantastic dial-up from Matt Leone. Delaware State brings pressure off the edge. There's one less defender dropping back behind in zone, and Mosley finds a gaping hole up the middle.
Under 60 seconds and ticking for the Eagles.
This is where having an experienced quarterback who can operate the offense really helps.
Looking for Wall, that one just over his head. Had him on the corner route heading towards the sideline, but instead, an incomplete pass. The first stoppage play for North Carolina Central on this drive.
Mosley out. H.A. Rogers in. Not as frequent of a pass catcher, so would not be surprised if Harris is looking outside and trying to get the ball out quickly.
Bates in this Hornet defense trying to organize. Harris is going to pick up the football and run towards the sideline. Gains about 6. It'll be 3rd and mid to gain. And that's a senior move by a quarterback right there.
Someone who didn't really run in his last 2 years, but has now become a real threat. Coach Trey Oliver at the beginning of the year joking that Walker Harris turning into Davius Richard, a true dual threat. Don't think they'll be running QB power for him anytime soon, but he picks up meaningful chunks when North Carolina Central needs it. And Delaware State had a player late to get off the field.
The timeout will be used now, I think, by DSU. Yep. So Delaware State takes the timeout. Walker Harris, running so far this year, has been credited with a gain of 79. A net gain of 79, although in total he's picked up 140 yards on the ground, which isn't bad for a quarterback that's mostly known as a pocket passer, and has 3 rushing touchdowns to his credit as well, including one the last time I was here where he got front flipped into the maroon paint.
It's the extra hat that you have to account for in the run game. It makes a big difference in the red zone for the most part, when your quarterback is willing to tuck it and take it himself.
It's a 3rd and 3 for North Carolina Central. Need about one more first down and have a chance at least for a field goal. Harris has a man on the streak. That's complete. Is it held on? Incomplete. It was intended for Chris Mosley.
Wheel route. Harris looking for another hole shot. Christian Garrett with the explosion on the sideline.
Those are some brave catches that we've seen made by these receivers so far today. Catches where they know as soon as they put their hands on the leather, they're about to get blown up. But Chris Mosley used to taking the contact. Almost hauls it in, but it's 4th and 3 now for North Carolina Central from the 41 in Hornet territory. 34 seconds to go in the half. And Delaware State is going to use their final timeout. You think about going back to the draw, or do you go just straight handoff here, knowing that you've got enough time to get everybody set and get another play off before you need to either spike the ball or burn a timeout?
Well, you have to get into Robinson's field goal range before halftime. With 34 seconds, touchdown isn't necessarily on your mind. As long this year, 39. So as long as you can get to about the 30, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. So it takes 1 or 2 more plays. I wouldn't be all that concerned about utilizing the sideline on 4th down. You have to complete it, and you can get to the line of scrimmage quickly enough. In that huddle, I would not be surprised if Matt Leone gave Walker Harris 2 plays, 1 for 4th down, and then 1 after the potential conversion, so the offense can rush up, get set, and get moving.
Delaware State look like they're ready to bring about 6. They only bring 4 on delayed blitz. Pass, leaping grab by Spikes. Did he hold on to it? They'll say it's incomplete, but they drop a flag.
Jadarius Perkins draped all over Spikes' back.
So away from the call, we do think.
Pass interference, defense number 5. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
It's about as good as a completed pass for North Carolina Central. The ball is now up to the 32. Rather note that the 33-yard line, and now you are just at the edge of the range for Caleb Robinson. Harris, pressure comes in, and the timer absolutely brought down to a close by Dasheen Jackson, crashing down from the second level.
Nothing Walker Harris could do. Great swim move around A.C. McMoore. Jackson times the snap count perfectly. A veteran move for a grad transfer to punch North Carolina Central back and out of field goal range.
And the Eagles have now used their final timeout here. So now they've got to regroup and figure out what to do. It's now 2nd down and 18. And just a well-timed blitz dialed up by Delaware State. So North Carolina Central now have to get back to about, as you said, the 30-yard line. As the fans here in attendance get ready to watch the marching sound machine at halftime. Just about a capacity crowd here at O'Kelly Riddick Stadium for a picturesque homecoming Saturday. Walker Harris with time, out route. That's Chance Peterson up to the 30, 20 seconds and moving. It's now 3rd down.
Clock is rolling, no timeouts.
7 yards to gain. Walker Harris will spike it. It's 4th and 7 with 9 seconds. And this will be a field goal on the way now for Caleb Robinson. This will be about 45 yards if he attempts it. I don't know if the Eagles know that it's 4th down. Fourth and 7 with 9 seconds to go, and it looks like the Eagles have their eyes on 6 instead of 3. Potentially the last play of the half. Harris looking for the end zone. Has Spikes over his head, but a flag dropped. And the Eagles bailed out once again on a pass intended for Spikes.
Going after Jadarius Perkins once more.
And there's 3 seconds remaining.
Pass interference, defense number 5, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So 15 yards brings the ball up to the 15. The clock is stopped. Caleb Robinson on to put this one in from about 32 yards.
Harris knew it. Perkins with his left arm wrapped around Spikes as the receiver reached up to haul the pass in.
Snap and hold it clean. The kick is blocked. So Delaware State holds firm, and they head to the locker room down by 3, and they'll get the football to start the second half. Some extracurriculars after the play was over as well. What a wild end to the half here as North Carolina Central leads by 3. Could have been more, but Delaware State twice has stymied North Carolina Central in attacking territory. Batted pass and an interception, and now a blocked field goal.
And I think both coaches will head to the half happy. Trey Oliver's crew has done its best to keep Delaware State from building momentum on the ground. Didn't happen until later on in the second quarter. And the Eagles offensively haven't run it that well themselves, but have found success going short through the air and taking some deep shots, drawing some flags.
We'll have a moment to speak with North Carolina Central head football coach Trey Oliver as he places the headset on now.
Yeah.
Coach Oliver, you got us?
Got you.
All right, Coach, you're heading to the locker room leading by 3. North Carolina Central able to get things going here in the second quarter of play. How did this offense change in the second quarter?
We got to play much better. Penalties. I mean, we're killing ourselves with penalties. Not winning first down, getting behind the chains. We just got to settle down a little bit, make some plays. But got to get our run game going, and we'll be just fine.
Coach, how did you feel your defense handled Delaware State's running game in the first half?
I thought we played well. It was just one scheme that caused some problems. Got to make some adjustments, and I think we'll get that corrected here at halftime. But I thought we played well defensively for the most part.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. We'll see you in the second half.
All right, thank you.
North Carolina Central with a 10-7 lead over Delaware State at halftime at homecoming at O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium.
Coming into MEAC play, and they certainly haven't played the easiest non-conference slate, but going up against the reigning conference champions, and right now keeping them to just 4 completions through 24 yards through the first quarter. We know South Carolina State is a team that struggled to run the ball in the non-conference, but if Norfolk State defensively can shut down the passing attack too, they'll give plenty of room for Otto Coons, an experienced quarterback, to operate the Spartan offense.
And at 3:30, Morgan State and their vaunted defense will take on Howard, a team that has made their claim as MEAC champions within the last few years in a trip to Atlanta.
We know Howard is a team that is resetting at the beginning of the year, but they still have Eden James. He's still one of the most dynamic backs in all of FCS football. So Morgan State, just like the players on this field, they will be zeroed in on the run game of Howard.
These are the conference standings as they stand right now. North Carolina Central at the top due to their non-conference schedule, but next week it's all going to be shaken up after the conference games get underway. 6 league teams, 5 conference games to play, 1 ticket to the Celebration Bowl. We'll be back to talk a little bit more about what's happening in this game and around the league when we return to O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium and homecoming Saturday within the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Crowd as well. They lead 10-7 at the intermission. With Ian Unsworth and Jonathan Durham, let's take a look at what's happened within the first 30 minutes of play. In our first half stats, you see the disparity in total yards, but it took that second quarter for North Carolina Central to really kick things into gear.
Walker Harris has been efficient and effective for the most part. 174 yards through the air, completing 70% of his passes, and he's gotten 6 different receivers involved in the first half. Both teams have turned the ball over. North Carolina Central also had a kick blocked right as time expired in the first half, and Delaware State will get the ball coming out of halftime, and Deshaun Jackson certainly has to be very happy with how his team has handled this homecoming environment.
North Carolina Central getting things done really in the backfield because of the man under center, Walker Harris, on the right side of your screen. He's thrown for about 120 yards in this first half of play, and how about this? He has now eclipsed his single-season record in passing yards. He threw for 1,800 all of last year.
Harris has really been sharp, navigated the zone defense of Delaware State and some occasional pressure. On the other side, Caden Bennett has not had an opportunity to get his legs working. That's the best part of his game, taking the ball from the backfield himself, but he's only got 19 yards on the ground. Gillis and Jones have been somewhat bottled up because of it, and Bennett only 3 for 8 passing today.
Walker Harris is going to try to keep North Carolina Central in the driver's seat, and Caden Bennett is going to try to find a way to upset North Carolina Central on homecoming. 10-7, Eagles lead. We'll be back with more. Sean Jackson. Coach, do you have us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Heading into the second half, what adjustments are you looking to make for your team to try to finish off these drives with scores?
Man, complimentary football, man. We got to go out there, man, and just continue to keep playing, competing, man. It's a tough battle right now. 10-7, coming out of halftime, we get the ball. We got to go put some points on the board right now.
Coach Jack, pretty raucous environment, right? The homecoming festivities, the great crowd. How do you feel your team has handled this environment and this road trip?
Man, they're doing a good job so far, man. Just a few opportunities we left out there in the first half. We just got to get in position where, we don't allow them things to happen no more. But we're going to take care of the ball. We're going to come out right now and be real aggressive, and hopefully we get some points on the board.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Let's get ready to see that offense.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Jackson and the Hornets, their offense heading out to the field to receive the football. The coin toss went the way of North Carolina Central to receive. The Eagles like to control that middle four. They had it last in the first half, had the field goal blocked.
And I wonder what Coach Jackson means by aggressive football. Does that mean a couple downfield shots? We saw them try a trick play already with the backup quarterback, sending Caden Bennett. You see him on your screen there. He went in motion as a receiver. So is there some trickeration in Coach Jackson's bag?
This ball will be down to the end zone as the Hornets will take over the 25. Coach Jackson, we had the opportunity to talk with him with an extended conversation earlier this week. And we asked him, how do you want this Delaware State team to be remembered? And he says he wants this team to be remembered as a violent and physical football team. They really clamped down on that, again, holding North Carolina Central to just 3 rushing yards in the first quarter. And this Hornet team is definitely making their stamp among the MEAC.
And once Delaware State got the offense rolling in the second quarter, we saw the O-line start to clear out North Carolina Central's defensive line. Gillis and Jones started picking up 5 and 6 yards per run. But something to keep an eye on here in the second half. Elijah Payne has not returned to the game. Daniel Olalakin is still at left tackle.
And over at right tackle is the redshirt sophomore Takai Wallace. Ball spotted. 15 minutes to go here in this third quarter. 30 to go in regulation. Hornets go back to where they started. A handoff for Gillis. He's suplexed down by Max Uren. That first half, 87 rushing yards for Delaware State, outgained North Carolina Central. Again, this is a Delaware State team that leads the nation with 327 rushing yards per game. Their homecoming was last week against Southern Connecticut State. They ran for over 600. Seam route pass, and there's nobody in front of the receiver. Nigel Lawley, give him his second touchdown of the day. A strike from 65 yards out.
There it is. Play action. An RPO with a slant on the backside. Easy enough. The connection from Bennett to Lawley. A beautiful slant, burning Cameron Williams off the line of scrimmage. And with all eyes in the backfield, Bennett allows Lawley to slip behind North Carolina Central.
72-yard pass completion. Why take multiple plays if you can do it in 2? Delaware State surges back into the lead.
That's Caden Bennett's first passing touchdown since September 21st.
His first pass TD since then, and they've got 5 wins. But how about the huge connection to Nigel Lawley? His 3rd touchdown of the year, his 2nd today. This Hornet team, they saw North Carolina Central crashing down on the run. And they took advantage. A 72-yard completion. Delaware State in front, 14-10.
Embrace the bold.
The Jackson effect of what Deshaun Jackson's been able to do for DSU.
He has got this offense rolling, and you'd think a wide receiver, an all-pro in the NFL, they'd be throwing it all over the place. Well, the threat of the run opened up the pass game on that last possession. Just 2 plays for a score.
It's going to be returned by Mekhi Wall from inside the 10 up to the 30, and he's got room to rumble. Makes it to midfield as he switches hands, throws a stiff arm, and takes the ball all line in Hornet territory. About a 65-yard return.
That's how you flip the momentum. Get the crowd on its feet.
And that's one thing I was just about to talk about. You asked Coach Jackson about how this team was faring in this environment. They really took this crowd out of it. That 72-yard completion. We went to break, and this crowd was silent, much different from how it was at halftime. But now, a big return like that gets the crowd back in it.
And Delaware State's had a few hiccups on defense, a couple missed tackles, one that turned into the only North Carolina Central touchdown, and a couple of penalties late in the first half, which set North Carolina Central up for a field goal, which was blocked.
2 consecutive massive plays by both teams, the 72-yard touchdown, the 55-yard kick return. Now the Eagles, as they swap backs, out of the game was Chris Mosley. A.J. Rogers now in. They'll hand the ball to Rogers. Follows his blocks to the right side. He's able to get about 2 as he was able to run over Anthony Hebert on the edge. 3rd and 5 now for North Carolina Central, trying to find a way to get back in front.
Great job by Hebert, who's playing strong safety, sliding up and knocking Rodney Lassane back. It's a 250-pound tight end who operates more as an H-back in the run game. And Hebert not afraid to get physical.
Harris looking for the first down. That one might have been tipped as it was intended for A.J. Rogers. It's now 4th down. Harris frustrated with the outcome of that play, and it looks like the Eagles are going to punt.
Rogers immediately releases out of the backfield. I think Walker Harris was expecting Rogers to be a bit more outside. There was space in the flat, and Harris was throwing Rogers open, but A.J. took a while to get his head around and find the football.
So the Eagles, like they did in the first half of the game, their first possession, they go 3 and out.
Nobody deep for Delaware State.
Robinson, a short back spiraling punt. It's going to bound inside the 20 and be downed at the 11. So Caleb Robinson gets out the gap wedge, spins that one close to the pin. And Delaware State will take over at the 11. Excuse me, Brandon Bowman.
Interesting choice from a former punt returner himself, Deshaun Jackson. Play it safe. Don't put a returner back there, and make sure you don't get caught out by a fake.
Speaking of, that's what happened in North Carolina Central. Their defense the last time out got caught looking in the backfield. 72 yards later, looking at Najee Lawling in the end zone with the 2nd touchdown of the day. Option play for Del State. Nothing there for Bennett. Brought down by Thomas Johnson.
North Carolina Central fell victim to this a couple times in the first half. The triple option, you fake the give, you've got the speed option behind the QB. That time the Eagles had multiple bodies scraping down, exchanging gaps to handle both the quarterback and the running backs.
A loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Handoff here for Gillis. Able to spurt through, runs through multiple hits, and that might be enough for the first down. Brings it up to the 23, and now that'll push the sticks.
Gillis has stayed so consistent over his off seasons, working with both personal trainers and the Delaware State strength and conditioning staff that he can now easily break through arm tackles, get past a couple hands at the first level, and get the wheels turning into the second.
They go on the stretch run outside. Jones, not a lot there. Doesn't look like they're going to move much. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Great pursuit from the NCCU defensive line. Donquarius Parker, Wisdom Sims, Christian Smith, all getting out there and all pushing back the right side of the DSU O-line.
Wisdom Sims had a big hit in the backfield earlier in this game. And that handoff for Gillis. Patient. He runs right into the Eagle line. He stood up. It'll be 3rd down after a gain of 2. One thing that has really impressed me by Marquise Gillis is his ability to be patient in the backfield. A lot of times he'll take the handoff and we'll just wait and observe and watch the O-line.
And it's an O-line that's been so successful, it's been so aggressive. Gillis trusts them to open up a hole.
3rd and 6, play action. Time running out. Somehow able to escape Caden Bennett. Enough for the first down and more. Across midfield and out to the 40. Bottled up for what looked to be a sure loss, and instead he runs for 20.
They were looking for Nathan Stewart on a slant. There was nothing there. When Bennett moved right, the entire defense shifted with him, and that cutback found a gaping hole on the wide side of the field because the receivers cleared out the entire area. Everyone running man-to-man in the secondary. There are no eyes on the quarterback.
And right now, the explosive D lineman for North Carolina Central, Thomas Johnson, is down after the play. The athletic training staff is out checking on him, and we'll take a break and we'll update you on his condition when we get back. 14-10, Delaware State driving. Walked off under his own power, but a look at Thomas Johnson and how he is transformed as an edge rusher.
He didn't play all that much last year, but has burst onto the scene. Ever since that season opener against Southern University, he has terrorized quarterbacks off the edge.
When he was down, he was sitting up and had a conversation with Coach Trey Oliver, possibly ready to go in at the next opportunity. Delaware State in positive territory. A handoff here for Jones. A jump cut around the edge, and not much room for him. Christian Smith had him in his clutches and wouldn't let go.
Johnson still on the sideline at the moment. He is the vocal leader of the front. In the first half, he was a man possessed, jumping up and down after sacks, big hits. Christian Smith, on the other hand, another experienced player, a redshirt senior, 0 in maroon, is the strong, silent type. He shows up to work every day with the lunch pail mentality that Coach Oliver likes to talk about, and he leads by example.
And it looks like it's Tamir Ellis who's taking over in that role, wearing the number 16. Bennett looking to make his escaping act once again. Gains about 4. Hit applied by Isaiah Lawson. It's now 3rd down, but Caden Bennett showing exactly what he can do when he's able to get into open space. Johnson now finally returns for North Carolina Central on defense.
He's on one edge. Mekhi McCall is on the other. McCall came in with 3.5 sacks. North Carolina Central's front is experienced, and they are fast. Look at Johnson.
Gets in the backfield, but can't make the hit to finish the play as Jones bites through and gets the first down.
Look at number 10, near side of the screen, burst off the edge. He flies underneath the block, but he can't wrap up James Jones, who's got that ability to put his foot in the ground and make you miss.
Saw Thomas Johnson do something similar at the MEAC SWAC Challenge against Southern. Had a quarterback sack where he came off the edge completely untouched. First down for Delaware State. Keeper for the quarterback, Bennett. Hop steps away and able to get about 5. He is slippery, Caden Bennett.
makes the right read. Look at Max Uren screaming off the edge. And right behind him, Isaiah Wallace tries to replace Uren in that outside gap. Bennett just too quick and too jerky to wrap up.
Hails from Reno, Nevada. I wonder if he watched Colin Kaepernick at U-Nevada when he was growing up.
He's been in college football a long time. Del State is fourth different school.
Big pass outside. Najee Lawley. Is that his third touchdown of the day? You bet. An unbelievable day for him and the Hornets.
The second time Lawley has capitalized on a mano-a-mano situation on the outside. North Carolina Central again in man-to-man, and Lawley bursts towards the end zone. Not a great angle from...
Up 21-10, and they are stunning this home crowd. 7:30 to go in this third quarter. It's time for North Carolina Central to respond. So they'll get the ball back out of the break. (21-10) Delaware State, as they are absolutely shocking this homecoming crowd from North Carolina Central. Najee Lawley, his third receiving touchdown of the game.
He had 4 career touchdowns coming in, but he has been the recipient of a couple of quick passes, 2 RPO screens and 1 slant from Caden Bennett. Lawley has beat the North Carolina Central defensive backs on the outside, sped past them, and found the end zone untouched twice.
Mekhi Wall returned his last one for 55 yards. He's going to try his luck again. Swimming through the line. He's able to bring this one up to about the 35, but a flag is thrown. We'll wait for the officials to figure this one out. Najee Lawley is having an economical football game right now. He's been targeted 5 times, 4 catches for 117 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nearly automatic. I mean, he gets the football.
It's not like Delaware State has been hucking it down the field the entire game. I mean, Bennett's only thrown 10 passes. But when you can rip off a couple of big ones on the outside, it's going to make North Carolina Central respect your pass game more and more and lighten up those boxes for Gillis and Jones when it's time to run the clock down and wear out the defense late.
Holding. Kicking team number 44. 10-yard penalty added into the plate. First down, Central.
So a holding penalty against Delaware State. And North Carolina Central has a hill decline. Down by 11, 7.5 minutes to go here in this third quarter. And the Eagles can't think about what could have been, but for sure, 3 points blocked at the end of the first half. An interception in positive territory and a pass that was batted down at the line of scrimmage. And North Carolina Central has to find a way. Harris to start the offense. Pass to Mosley, in and out of his hands, and a flag thrown in the secondary.
Mosley might have heard the footsteps of Hebert, who was sneaking right behind him. Could be an eligible man downfield on the right tackle. Jaquan Sprinkle leaking out.
This pass interference against North Carolina Central. That goes against Kyle Morgan. The Eagles lose yardage here. Things going sideways, but going quite well for Deshaun Jackson, coaching his first conference game as a collegiate head coach.
And that energy certainly carried through the head coach pregame. He was jumping, dancing, jiving, just enjoying the environment, and it seems his team has done the same.
It's a situation of feel good, play good, right? Delaware State was definitely the looser of the two teams while warming up. North Carolina Central very much regimented in their warm-up, but Delaware State, something you don't see quite often. They finished up their first stretching routine. They all huddled up and were breaking down at midfield facing North Carolina Central. Mosley spins away from the first hit. He'll get about 3. But not often you see a team when they get the team breakdown together to do it at midfield facing the opponent.
I don't think Delaware State is scared of anyone. I don't think Deshaun Jackson is scared of anyone. It's a team that's experienced, built through the portal, but has come together with a lot of confidence. A tough fall camp, a whole lot of summer conditioning, which saw them running on tracks in heat with not a whole lot of time to rest. And stuff like that brings groups together and builds a whole lot of mental toughness.
Draw play for Rogers. Pushes the pile. He'll get about 4. And it's 3rd down and a long way to go for North Carolina Central.
Passing game down the sideline was a big key for NCCU in the first half. Outside receivers, 0 Chauncey Spikes on the near side of your screen, and Nassim Cosby, 87 on the far side, have 1 down the field.
3rd and 20 for North Carolina Central. Harris throws this one over the middle, caught by Wall. He's at the sticks. Is it enough for the first down? Oh my goodness, what a play and what a route by Mekhi Wall.
It's just a seam down the middle of the field, but Wall sits down right in front of the deep safety. Does a great job of getting his eyes on the sticks, knowing how far he has to go.
Wall rewarded with another quick pass. He brings this one up for a gain of about 6 to the 40-yard line. We saw Christian Mosley leave earlier in this drive. He's standing on the sideline right now holding his helmet. He's trying to get his helmet equipment fixed up because we're seeing Arthur Rogers with extended snaps on this drive. Harris with time. Pass to Peterson, complete. Peterson lowers the shoulder up to about the 25.
Nice and simple, a mesh concept over the middle. Spikes and Luke Bracey running interference for Peterson to clear the second level of the defense and find a gap in the flat.
1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Handoff here for Rogers. Able to swim through the right side, and Christian Mosley, helmet has come correct. Comes running back onto the field now to continue. So A.J. Rogers gets a few carries. Helps to push North Carolina Central forward on the drive. Now 2nd and 9. Three wide set as they move Cosby in on the top of the formation. Harris sees green grass in front of him. And head to the sideline. Takes a big push out of bounds, a legal way to finish the play by Anthony Hebert. He made contact in the field of play.
Harris was looking for Chance Peterson, but saw color flash in front of his face. Alexander Cassini, freshman from Sweden, coming up around the edge.
The Eagles into the red zone here, 1st and 10 from the 14. The last time they were here, they got pushed back, gained the yardage, but had their field goal blocked. Mosley on the carry, left side, able to stretch it around the edge. Inside the 5, puts his foot out of bounds before he dove for the end zone. But what a run by Christian Mosley, able to keep the play alive and get yardage where it looked like he was going to be stopped much shorter than that.
Left foot right underneath a pretty excited Central fan. Barely catches some white turf.
It's now was going to be stopped much shorter than that.
Left foot right underneath a pretty excited Central fan. Barely catches some white turf.
It's now 1st and goal. Ball spotted at the 4. Eagles down by 11. Under 3 to go in this third quarter. Handoff for Mosley. Pushes the pile. He's wrapped up. His legs were tangled up below him. And for Delaware State, not quite sure if it was Quentin Johnson who was there. Excuse me, it's number 8, Nashawn Biggs. Able to get a half of a tackle there. A.J. Rogers back in for Mosley.
And Rogers is a bowling ball. 6 touchdowns on the year, same as Mosley. Very comfortable with him in the red zone situation, just to plow his way up the middle.
A keeper for Harris. Follows his blocks. Try to reach it across the goal line. They'll put him down at the 1. Dangerous move there by Harris as he was rolling. Tried to stretch the ball out.
Rogers trying to clear the way. Biggs again on the tackle from behind. Seems like Harris's right knee touched turf before the ball popped out.
2 players that were fighting over the football before the lineman just took it away from both of them. They go spot it back down. A.J. Rogers was after it. They did whistle him down before he lost the ball, which you saw the replay. That was correct. And a stoppage. Delaware State's going to take the timeout here. You might think they might want to try to use this to try to get them to take another look. But from our replay, from what we saw, it definitely looked like Walker Harris, his right elbow came down, and that's what ended up knocking the football loose.
Not an excellent lip reader, but it's pretty clear that Coach Jack is saying that was a fumble.
You see him talking with the staff right now. Here's one more look.
And this is a pretty great shot from our camera crew. Harris reaches out. The right knee and the right elbow both hit turf. Then the ball pops loose.
And after all of that, you'll see on the top of the screen A.J. Rogers and a Delaware State player going after the football. Can't quite tell from the backside angle. Jackson still getting his point across, but it's going to be 3rd and 1 for North Carolina Central. Their offense is out there. And we're ready to continue.
And I understand Coach Jack's thought. If that's a situation where you can convince these officials to take a look, you get it back, maybe prevent a score.
And the Eagles play rugby, and a successful scrum pushes him over the line. Waiting for the official call. Looked like Harris dove over the line, and yes, he does. Walker Harris gets his 4th rushing touchdown of the year, and he brings his team back within 1 score.
Think back to earlier in the drive when North Carolina Central converted a 3rd and 20. That could be a pivotal play in this game. Harris connecting with Makai Wall down the middle of the field. Not just 10 yards, but 20 of them. And then after that, this offense stayed in phase the entire way.
These are pivotal plays that are often not forgotten from games like these. Robinson, extra point. Is good, and that brings the Eagles back within 4. Winding our way to the end of this third quarter of play, 21-17. North Carolina Central leads after an 11-play, 56-yard drive that took 5.5 or almost 6 minutes of play. But again, going back to, as you mentioned, that critical 3rd and 20 conversion for North Carolina Central.
North Carolina Central's passing game has been extremely effective. Completion for Walker Harris, 215 yards. Delaware State has been burned in man coverage.
Now we'll wait to see if the return man for Delaware State, Kyrie Benton, is going to be able to break off a big return. We saw a 55-yarder from Mekhi Wall for North Carolina Central. Caleb Robinson getting ready to send this one back. Benton watches it go over his head. Delaware State will start at the 25. A flag thrown, finally. We've seen a lot of extracurriculars on special teams. Last time on the kick return, it was a hold against Delaware State as the kicking team. Now let's see what the call is here as a flag was thrown at the tail end of the play.
Result of the play is a touchback. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Return team number 84 penalized half the distance to the goal. First down, Del State.
That's tight end DeMar Jackson, part of the blocking team.
He takes a leap at Javon Wright. Doesn't really connect. Coach Jackson has been frustrated at times with his team's ability to play outside its nature.
That's the 7th penalty for 58 yards now for Delaware State in this game. First and 10 from the 13. Gillis is bottled up and has nowhere to go. There's a couple of plays left to go here in this third quarter as we look ahead to the fourth. Delaware State up by 4. A 3-touchdown day for Nigel Lawley. We came into this game expecting to be talking about Marquise Gillis and Chris Mosley, but it has been the wide receivers who have stolen the show.
Both of Delaware State's backs, Gillis and Jones, are pretty fresh, though.
Nothing there. Play finished off by North Carolina Central. Haven't quite been able to figure out who our mystery number 16 is at D lineman. So that's Zarian Walters.
And since Johnson is a little banged up, Walters is going to see more time. Thomas Johnson is on the field now, top of the O-line, but they might save him for pass rush situations. And they really need to get after Caden Bennett.
3rd and 7. There goes Johnson after the quarterback. Gets his hands on him but can't bring him down. Pass is caught on the sideline. He's going to try to tuck back in and try to run this one like a screen. And he gets stood up by the Eagle defense. And that is a big defensive stop for North Carolina Central. In college basketball, the coaches would call this a kill, right? You get the big play and you stop the other team. For North Carolina Central, a big scoring drive and now a chance to take the lead going into the fourth quarter. Huge defensive moment.
Johnson coming in, having an impact. Just one hand enough to change Bennett's vision, force a quick check down throw, and the Eagles rally to the football.
The 4s go up on both sidelines, and if you're tuned in here, you're going to want to multi-box this, or you're just going to want to stay here. Fourth quarter of a classic coming up. Central. A look at the line score there. That third quarter really turned the tide. Delaware State, that 72-yard completion to Nigel Lawley, and he tacked on another one from 20 yards out to put his team ahead, and they are now holding this lead by 4.
Lawley, 4 catches for 117 yards, and all 3 of his team's tuds.
Last time Delaware State had a receiver with over 3 catches for a touchdown in a game. It's back in 2021. Trey Gross had 4 touchdowns as the Eagles won that one in OT. Mekhi Wall, fair catch at the 35. Dyson Roberts got brought down, but no flag dropped, but a great punt to be able to stop the return.
Got a Hornet down at their 25.
And a look at this game of Trey Gross, an incredible receiver from Delaware State. He was able to put North Carolina Central pretty much in a blender when he held North Carolina Central to those 4 touchdowns, 12 catches, 142 yards. As North Carolina Central won that game in overtime, final game of the season. But Trey Gross, a Hornet legend.
North Carolina Central and Trey Oliver certainly had some defensive film to go over. Probably some more double teams needed. Today, defensively, North Carolina Central has kept Delaware State, for the most part, contained. It's just been a couple of those big plays that have gotten the Hornets rolling offensively. But it's NCCU with the ball. When we come back, a chance to take the lead.
Consecutive scores. With the ball in the box the last time out, QB sneak. A big push by the line, put Walker Harris in. One more score puts the Eagles back in front. 21-17 Delaware State as we start the fourth quarter. On play action, Harris throws a parabola over the middle. He finds Peterson. Peterson looking for a block, spins out the hit. And he's finally brought down at the 10.
Longest pass play of the day for North Carolina Central. Another strike down the hash. Peterson running free in the slot after play action.
Play action again. Looking for the corner. That's Chauncey Spikes. Eagles back in front on homecoming.
Harris held the ball for just an extra beat, and that's what helps Spikes get open. First, a look at this big hitter down the middle. Peterson streaks past the second level of the defense in cover 2, where there are 2 deep safeties covering a half of the field. You can split them down the middle. Then one more look at the touchdown. Wayne Favors has his eyes in the backfield. The play action and the out route in front open up the back corner of the end zone for sure-handed Chauncey Spikes.
Delaware State set the tone in the second half with a 2-play drive that ended with a 72-yard touchdown. How about a 55-yard pass and then a 10-yarder, 65 yards, and the Eagles back in front, 24-21. A great one here from O'Kelly Riddick Stadium, and we'll have more of the fourth quarter when we get back. Out. The Eagles now lead this game 24-21 with Ian Unsworth and Jonathan Duran as we look at our stats heading into the fourth quarter.
Both teams have scored off some big hitters. Delaware State's only been in the red zone once because they've had 2 long completions where 9G Lawley has grabbed quick passes and exploded down the field. North Carolina Central has been a bit more deliberate offensively, but have really come into their stride in the second half, throwing the ball down the middle of the field.
Another big return from the 5-yard line all the way up to the 35, and a flag dropped during the return, so we'll have to wait for that to be sorted out. But special teams has indeed been special today from the return game and also in the kicking game with Delaware State with a blocked field goal right before halftime.
And right now, if you're Delaware State, that blocked field goal will come into play for the rest of the game. Differential is 3, and you don't have to hunt a touchdown just yet.
The officials are looking towards the Delaware State sideline.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block, return team number 92. Penalized half the distance to the goal, first down.
And this is the second time now that Delaware State has been penalized half the distance to the goal. One was unnecessary roughness on their last return, and now a blindside block.
and behind the play, too. That's what really has to hurt. If you're Deshaun Jackson on the Delaware State sideline, Benton was already past North Carolina Central first wave of defense.
So the Hornets will start this drive from the 13. Trailing for the first time in a while. Down by 3. 2 receiver set. Gillis gets the handoff. Runs forward. Gets about 3. North Carolina Central clamping down Christian Smith. And there to be part of the first party to make the hit. Sounds like Isaiah Lawson in there for the hit as well with Smith. It'll be second down and about 8 to go. Delaware State, to tell you what, they refuse to abandon the run game. And when it's as good as it is, why not? They've now ran for about 160. Another handoff here. This time it's Jones. He's flipped over by Isaiah Lawson. It'll be third and about mid to gain.
Trailing in the fourth quarter doesn't mean you abandon what's gotten you here. And that's been the legs of Marquise Gillis, James Jones, and most importantly, in the late stage of this game, Caden Bennett, the quarterback.
Now this Eagle crowd getting into it. A handoff for Jones. No, it's kept by Bennett. Bennett has nowhere to go. Max Uren for the hit, and he is joined very quickly by the rest of the Eagle defense. Cameron Williams joins him. Fourth down.
Uren has his eyes on Bennett all the way from the snap. That is just a one-on-one assignment that Uren wins, and Williams sheds a block on the outside.
And it's now 4th and 1. The Hornets are going to it inside their own 25-yard line.
Gillis not on the field. Jones next to Bennett.
Handoff here for Jones. Crashes through the line, able to corkscrew his way forward. That's enough for a first down up to the 28.
Bennett ran not 1 but 2 hard counts. And the thought crossed through my mind, are they going to snap this ball? I think that delayed snap count going on the 3rd HUD caught NCCU just slightly off guard. Maybe relaxing in their stances a little bit.
So the Hornets convert on 4th down once again, one of the most aggressive teams in the nation. A run here for Gillis. He's wrapped up by Thomas Johnson. That is a strong tackle right there. He got him on the upper body and was able to halt his progress. I don't know many other people within this conference that can do that.
Yeah, that is a one-armed bear hug.
Goodness gracious. Johnson listed 6'3", 255 out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. Absolute machine on the edge. 28 hits, 17 by himself, 6.5 sacks this season. No gain on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Time continuing to melt. Play action. Bennett scans the field. Running out of time, he'll run. Across the 30, scampers out of bounds after a gain of about 5.
North Carolina Central brought some late nickel pressure, but Delaware State does a pretty good job of blocking it up. Bennett tries to step up in the pocket, but nothing opens up downfield, so he plays it safe.
It's the most impressive thing about this Delaware State offensive line is the way that they're able to manipulate the pressure. They're able to push everybody out of the way, and it seems that no matter what they do, once they've engaged everybody that's come in, if Bennett has to move, he's going to get about 5 like he did on that last play.
Just 1 sack for Central tonight.
Play action. Bennett has a wide open receiver, and that's Terrence Roan across midfield. First down, Hornets.
Roan coming out of the break has the ball right on his body. Bennett takes a bit of a lick afterwards. Walters closing down. That's a great connection down the field with Bennett on the move as well.
Fresh first down for Delaware State. They converted on 4th and 1 inside their own 25. Marquise Gillis sweeps around the right side. Takes a couple of Eagles for a ride. He gets about 6.
Low Look how the holes open up when you can successfully pass the ball down the field. It goes from a 6, 7, 8-man box to 5. And you get those edges. You get that initial push. Man-to-man on the outside here.
Hornets again going on the hard count. Play action. Bennett pass over the middle. Complete to Lawley. A rare catch for him that's not a touchdown, but it's a first down.
That's a 7th-year quarterback at his finest. Bennett runs the RPO, sees that slant he's eyeing down isn't open at first, but pumps it, takes his time, and finds Lawley in the second window. That trust that Lawley has built up with Bennett is starting to reveal itself throughout the second half of this game. Lawley right now one-on-one, bottom of the screen.
Pass batted away at the line. Zarian Walters able to put a bare paw up, and it's now second down. An impressive play for him, able to get disengaged and get his hand up.
Bennett's looking Lawley's way again. Said forget about the RPO. I see a matchup I like on the outside with off coverage from Jazir Dukes.
What was most impressive to me looking at the stats was the time of possession. It's been pretty even. North Carolina Central usually outpaces teams by about 5 minutes on the football. Delaware State is hanging right with them. Marquise Gillis scampers into midfield, and he's going to get a pick from the official. Gillis into the end zone with the help of an extra man on the field. Delaware State back in front.
Pass game opening up the run game. Gillis breaks through the initial line, and there's nobody there at the second level to stop him. Uren over pursues, misses the gap. Jelani Vassell beside himself after the play, running into the umpire. But there's not much you can do as a defense when Gillis catches a head of steam and trucks his way to the end zone.
Marquise Gillis has now recorded his 6th touchdown on the ground this season as the extra point is good. Delaware State back up by 4. 7th touchdown in sum of the year for Marquise Gillis. Hornets by 4, under 9 to play here in the fourth quarter. Central after a huge drive for DSU. The Eagles got a big score after converting on 3rd and 20. Delaware State on 4th and 1 inside their own 25.
It certainly takes some guts to be a winner in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Deshaun Jackson is putting his best against North Carolina Central's best.
Gotta think we might see a few more lead changes before this one's done. Hornets kick the ball back to North Carolina Central. It's Makai Wall from the 1. Looking for blockers, skips outside to the 40-yard line, bounces off the first hit, and finally brought down at the 43. Makai Wall has been impressive in return. But Rafeno Van Gates for North Carolina Central slow to get back up. And one more player from DSU as well.
Take a look at Wall bouncing it outside. He collides with the kicker, Patrick Fisher Butler, and that's who's down.
A lot of times in the return games, we see some big hits that are laid down by the centers, able to snap the ball and get downfield on a punt, and also kickers making heroic plays as well. Fisher Butler, possibly with him being able to come down, was able to stop 6 points, but he is feeling that hit right now.
And again, something that could play a pretty pivotal role in the final 8 minutes and 41 seconds of this football game. You need a last-second game-winning chip shot. Well, you comfortable going to your kicker given that he's a little banged up? Questions Coach Jack is going to have to ask himself and comb through with his special teams unit.
You've seen Fisher Butler this year. He's been able to hit from 40 yards 3 times. He's 3 for 4 from that distance. We've seen one other field goal attempted this year by Nate Reed, and that's it. So we'll keep an eye on the kicking game for Delaware State. They've been banged up a little. We saw Dyson Roberts go down a couple of times in this game. The first time, he had to be helped off the field. North Carolina Central is 2-0 against Delaware State in homecoming games. Trying to go 3-0 against them here. Handoff here from Mosley. Nothing for him to get anywhere. As Alexander Cassini out of Sweden into the backfield for the first hit. A loss of 4. It's 2nd and 14. Walker Harris on the low snap. Not able to get anything with it. The last photo we looked at was after a very close finish against Delaware State here at O'Kelly Riddick Stadium. Brandon Cotterington with a kick return with less than 30 seconds to go. Able to put the Eagles in front after Delaware State had just scored to swing the tide. All that to say that these last few times that the Eagles and the Hornets have met, it's been games that have been exactly like this. Delaware State, they might have been at the lower portion of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, but they have had North Carolina Central's number. Harris pass to the sideline. And it looked like it hit the ground, intended for Chauncey Spikes. And they'll say it is, in fact, incomplete. And it's now 4th down.
Eagles trying to compress Delaware State zones, beat them outside, and that's a strong throw from Walker Harris, but it's not going to get to the sticks anyways.
So the Eagles punt. This one bounces at the 32, takes a sharp turn, and will be downed inside the 20. And now a chance for Delaware State to try to put this game into the freezer. They've been very good at holding on to the football. The run game has been excellent, and a chance for them to take all of the air out of this game from North Carolina Central.
215 yards total on the ground, over 5 yards per carry, and this is where you call on the big guys up front. Tell your offensive line to go out there and impose your will. Silence the crowd.
1st and 10. The ball will be spotted at the 21. Delaware State holding on to a 4-point lead. The Eagles, if they're able to hold them to a field goal, will keep this still within 1 score. Run quickly shut down by North Carolina Central. Wisdom Sims and the rest of the Eagle defense work in concert. Delaware State doing exactly what we would expect them to do right now.
But you can't get too conservative yet. Najee Lawley in the slot on the far side. Especially with this off coverage North Carolina Central has been playing. Delaware State has mixed it up by flipping the ball out to 9 extremely quickly and letting him work with the ball in space.
Play action, Bennett to pass over the middle, has a receiver wide open. Up inside the 40 and inside the 30-yard line. Edward Core said his name today, and he makes a huge impact.
Core lined up right next to Lawley, And Bennett holding on to the football, looking for a lane, and finally he finds the third-string tight end streaking open across the field. Delaware State got lucky, though. It was an RPO. That means the offensive linemen are run blocking, and a couple of them are pretty far down the field. You can see it on that last replay. A couple of linemen passed that 3-yard buffer zone that you get in college football to block during a pass. So the Hornets escape one there.
Bennett with the snap, hands off for Jones. Again, Wisdom Sims there. It's been a lot of simple pass completions for Caden Bennett. When they've done that run-pass option, again, we talked about the slants, he's able to just look up the field and just lob the ball to a crossing route over the middle. We've seen that multiple times today.
And it's because Delaware State's receivers have won in one-on-one coverage. North Carolina Central with plenty of bodies towards the line of scrimmage. Eyes on Gillis, eyes on Jones, and how can you not, given the gaudy numbers they had coming in? But those receivers, a bit of an unheralded bunch, they have come up clutch tonight.
2nd and 9, 2-back set. Handoff here for Jones. Bounces to the right side, and a host of Eagles bring him down.
Right, and now you're in your 4-minute offense if you're Delaware State. You are taking your time to snap the football. It's not a team that's going to huddle necessarily, but they're going to take their time getting aligned. No need to show your hand early. And with no Gillis, no Jones, Jaden Jenkins in the backfield next to Caden Bennett, expect the ball to be in QB1's hands.
QB1 has now thrown for 212 yards in this game, the most that he's thrown for this year. Handoff here for the back, slicing through the right side. That's enough for the first down. Carrying his team forward is Jaden Jenkins, the redshirt senior from the Bronx.
Well, they caught me off guard, and they caught North Carolina Central off guard too. Look at that lane off the right side of the offensive line. Zakai Wallace, the backup right tackle, has so much room to operate that he just coasts to the second level.
This drive started with about 7 minutes to go, and now there's 3.5. 1st and 10, the Hornets have the 4-yard line to gain. Handoff here for Gillis. Stumbles forward for about 5. This is now a critical defensive moment for North Carolina Central. They got the big stop after the touchdown, but now they've got to find a way to keep the Hornets out of the end zone. They want a chance to win this game in regulation.
And Trey Oliver opting not to use his timeouts just yet. Might need him offensively if Delaware State goes up 2 scores.
Hornets letting the time tick away. They now snap it with 5 seconds. Handoff here for Gillis. That's enough for the first down at minimum. He's wrestled down at the 2. And you got to think that's going to be the last snap before the 2-minute timeout. There's enough leeway, enough of a cushion between the two timers. And the Hornets are, in fact, just going to let the time tick down. Delaware State has North Carolina Central on the ropes. Definitely not what we expected in this game.
Well, we knew Delaware State's rushing attack was going to come in and make their mark. What we didn't expect was Naiji Lally and Caden Bennett to unlock the aerial attack for Deshaun Jackson and crew. And the pass game has really proved to be the tipping point for Delaware State to take this late lead.
On the door, putting themselves up 2 scores against North Carolina Central. Four downs to get it done. And you know Coach Jackson will elect to use all 4. Handoff here for Gillis. Gillis into the end zone. And Delaware State continues to shock this crowd. Marquise Gillis, second score today, his 8th rushing score of the year.
And that may put this one on ice. 8 plays, 79 yards. Gillis with the capper. But again, the big pass play for Delaware State to extend the drive was the completion to Edward Core to get into plus territory and set up Gillis to take this one home.
And the Hornets now lead by 11 with under 2 minutes to go here. I mentioned Coach Oliver didn't use any of his timeouts during that last defensive stand because he's going to need all of them to try to get it done. They have to score. They have to get an onside.
And if you don't get that onside, maybe those timeouts can force you the quickest 3 and out if possible.
You see hugs on the Delaware State bench as they are on the verge of a historic win. Haven't beaten North Carolina Central in league play since 2018, and that game was played in Dover.
And this program in Delaware State, an afterthought in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference for the past couple of years, and came into this season as an afterthought as well. Not many people believed in the Hornets, but Delaware State did not let that stop them. Deshaun Jackson embraced it. The entire team embraced it as well, and they've stuck to their guns today, right? The passing game has been great, but when Delaware State's needed it the most, in a 4th down situation, in the red zone, they have gone to their 2 backs, Jones and Gillis, again and again.
Hornets now ready to kick things off to the Eagles. As the shadows are stretching across the field here in this Saturday afternoon sun in Durham, North Carolina. Van Gates lets this one go over his head.
Marquise Gillis, for what it's worth, has 100 yards or more in 6 of his 8 games this year.
And this is why Delaware State is one of the top rushing teams in the nation and why Marquise Gillis is one of the best running backs in the nation.
He's a potential Sunday player. And James Jones is as well, given his explosiveness and his ability to get outside the tackle.
The Eagles getting ready to try to respond here on offense. Under 2 minutes to go. Eagles have 3 timeouts. Delaware State has 2.
You have to go quickly, and you have to work the sidelines if possible.
Harris looking upfield. Pocket collapses, he'll run, but quickly disengaging and making the hit for Delaware State. Jaden Mifflin.
He had the pick earlier, and this time he stays in his gap and pops Harris on the scramble. Worst case scenario as a North Carolina Central drive starter.
90 seconds and ticking. Harris to pass again. Pressure comes in, looking for Van Gates on the stop route, and an incredible sliding catch. Eagles will go quickly. The ball will be spotted at the 45.
And you get a quick stop of the clock to reset the chains. You have to be ready to go as soon as the whistle blows.
Harris to pass again. Swings it to the sideline, incomplete for Peterson. Coach Deshaun Jackson doing the one thing that is requested of new coaches to come in, and that is to win. Won 4 games so far this season. Another look at a nice sliding grab by Van Gates. If they're able to hold on to the win here, it'll be their first conference win since November 5th, 2022. They upset South Carolina State in Orangeburg 27-24. In a full circle moment, that win allowed North Carolina Central to go to the Celebration Bowl. Pass down the sideline, leaping grab brought in by Chauncey Spikes. Throw that one on the highlight reel.
Just up and over, Wayne Favors. Exactly the connection you need to jumpstart the offense. You're taking end zone shots here.
Harris looking for somebody. Out route incomplete as he was looking for Peterson. But the Eagles, knowing the situation, knowing they have to score quickly, we'll get one more look at this grab.
Not only does Spikes make the catch over the defender, he's also getting his jersey tugged. Incredible concentration.
This is a current three-step process for North Carolina Central. Harris out of the pocket running, finds Mosley. Mosley has open space, goes inside, stonewalled, and brought down. Did he lose the football? Delaware State has picked it up, and now they're whistling the play dead. Was he down before, or is this game done? It's Delaware State football. Incredible. Delaware State stonewalls the Eagles at the 1-yard line. And now with 11-point lead, 40 seconds to go, a chance to walk out of here with the win.
Mosley trying to be a hero, but the cavalry arrives, and it's Anthony Hebert reaching around the back, getting in Mosley's breadbasket, and as Mosley fights for that much-needed touchdown, Delaware State's Swarm Squad puts a bow on proceedings.
We saw this at the Celebration Bowl. The Eagles got down to the 1-yard line, fumbled the ball, and didn't score. Able to come out with a win in that game. Saw it against New Hampshire. The Eagles going downfield, a pass that would have been a first down off the shoulder of the receiver, intercepted by New Hampshire. That ended the game. And now the Eagles fumble the ball at the 1-yard line, and Delaware State with a chance to take sole possession. It's the first game to finish within the MEAC conference this year of first place.
And the road ahead for Delaware State is interesting. Up next, they play Norfolk State. Of course, old Philadelphia Eagle teammates Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick matching up at Lincoln Financial Field. After that, you've got Morgan State on the road, but home games back-to-back. Howard and South Carolina State, the two latest Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference champions, to wrap up Delaware State's regular season.
Right now, this play is being reviewed for the fumble, but we got to look at it, and we saw that ball clearly out. And a look at what's ahead for North Carolina Central. They go on the road to Howard, back home against Norfolk State for their senior day, and then a Friday night primetime special against South Carolina State before finishing the season on the road at Morgan State. Howard, Norfolk State, a team that's going to be very hungry, and South Carolina State, a team that's going to be expected to be at the top of the standings, making their way to the Celebration Bowl as well. Tough sledding within the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. There's no easy games here.
It's certainly going to be interesting to see how Delaware State handles this new title of front runner. Will it change their disposition? Backup quarterback in the game. Jaden Surrey might be the one to run out the time.
And Coach Jackson, as we said, he enjoys this team having the underdog label, but they're going to be shedding that one very quickly as we look at a very, very happy tailback, James Jones. He did his job today.
He, Gillis, and Bennett combined for the majority of 242 rushing yards.
And what's interesting right here is even if Delaware State gives up a safety, it's still a 2-score game with 37 seconds to go. Definitely an awkward position here. A second down and 12. At least that's what the marker says. 2nd and 11.
Don't have much real estate to go backwards. And Deshaun Jackson is taking time out because of it.
This is one of the most awkward ways to end a football game that I have ever seen.
Well, think about it this way. Starting quarterback Caden Bennett has run spread offenses for the most part of his career at Sacramento State and now with Delaware State. He is not used to being under center. Jaden Surrey transferred in from Maryland. where they still do a lot of RPO spread stuff, but every once in a while, Mike Locksley, who's got an NFL background, will stick his quarterbacks under center and run some handoffs in the single back or I formation, run some play action. So that's why Sorea's in the game. If you kneel, though, it's a safety, and you're giving the ball back to North Carolina Central, which you just prefer not to do holistically.
But even still, if they do give up a safety, it's still a 9-point game. The Eagles will still have to go through the three-step process of touchdown, onside, score again.
Looks like tush-push here.
Able to avoid the safety. And a timeout taken by North Carolina Central, as the Eagles are going to force Delaware State to earn this one. Ian Unsworth, Jonathan Duran saying hello from your selected internet-connected device. Thanks for joining us here on this Saturday afternoon. And if this is your first taste of MEAC football, we hope that you're going to come back for more. This is a very special conference with very special players.
And that's a young head coach on the far sideline who had a special playing career himself and now has got a football team that was 1-11 last year, playing inspired and taking the throne, the top spot, the best record in the conference.
So now the final timeout taken by North Carolina Central is going to be 4th and about 12 from the 1-yard line. Now, you can think about the possibility of chaos. The specter of chaos is always out there. There could be a fumble in the end zone, recovered by North Carolina Central, and a chance to onside and get the ball back. If that happens, who knows what happens next?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. That's all I've got for you.
35-24 Delaware State, and here's how we got to this moment. Marquise Gillis just pushing his way through for a second touchdown of the day.
7th of the season. Gillis, 108 yards, over 5 per carry. You can say the same for Caden Bennett, 11 for 61. And Bennett only threw 15 passes, but he certainly did his job.
And Delaware State having personnel issues, so they're going to burn one more timeout. We have 23 seconds left to go in this game, and it feels like it's been taking us 23 minutes. As Delaware State uses their final timeout, both teams trying to make sure that their personnel is exactly where they need to be. 11-point lead. Here's a look at our highlights so far in this game. Just a huge rushing performance, running into the end zone. Marquise Gillis that put his team ahead, and then the second touchdown put them up by double digits.
Gillis had the go-ahead, and then he had the backbreaker. And I love those calls from Coach Jackson and Coach Naima Washington, who was a Bill Walsh coaching fellow and is now the offensive coordinator for Delaware State. Turn to your best players in the biggest moments and trust them to execute.
So now ready to punt. Here's RPO himself, Dyson Roberts, running to the corner, melting time away, and he goes out of the back for a safety. Dyson Roberts, the mobile punter, does his job. Eagles get 2 points, and they're down now by 9 with 15 seconds to go.
So flag out on the back end there. Roberts down again, so keep this contained. Wrap things up amicably.
Seems like every time that Dyson Roberts has gone out, he has ended up on the turf. Helped up again by the athletic training staff. As the officials are talking this one over. One more look at the end of the play.
Roberts headed for the pylon. That's Thomas Johnson who takes him down.
Now, it looks like there was some pushing once the play was done. Johnson had his hands up. So it seems to be some sort of unsportsmanlike after the play. We'll get this sorted out from our official.
The result of the play is a safety. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 10. His first of the game for picking up a player. 15-yard penalty being forced on the ensuing kickoff.
That's a call that I have not heard before.
In defense of Thomas Johnson, you have to go after him because, as you mentioned earlier, Jonathan, if you can knock the ball out of Dyson Roberts' hands as he high steps towards the corner of the end zone, if you knock that thing loose, it falls on the turf. You still have a chance in this game. There is still time on the clock. Roberts right near the end line. The officials rule that Johnson overextended.
So the Hornets out for the free kick after the safety. And the Eagles to return with 15 seconds to go, down by 9. Will need a miracle of all miracles to try to bring themselves at least level. It's been interesting. The Hornets have been having personnel issues of trying to get everybody on the field where they need to be. And one more late sub as it was Core who comes in. This one kicks deep. Wall will let it go over his head.
Not necessarily situations you rep every day in practice, whether that be the tush-push on your own goal line.
Right.
Or the post-safety kickoff up 9 points after your entire bench has already broken into celebration, knowing that the lead is pretty much insurmountable.
Nine-point lead for Delaware State. We mentioned the fact if they're able to come away with the win, as it looks to be inching even closer. This is a historic moment for them. Their first league win since 2022. Their first win against North Carolina Central in league play since 2018. And one more huge bridge for Delaware State to cross if they're able to hold off these Eagles for these final 15 seconds. Harris a handoff for A.J. Rogers. Rogers takes it up for enough for the first down. But 10 seconds to go. This seems to be the end of the game as both teams and their coaches are going to head to midfield. Coach Oliver walking to midfield.
Coach Jackson still directing traffic.
And Delaware State, how about this? They take down North Carolina Central in O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium for the first time since 1977. It has been 48 years since the Hornets have defeated North Carolina Central on the road. They blanked the Eagles back then, and they stunned the Eagles on their homecoming with a huge second half. 35-26, Hornets win it.
It took a little while for Delaware State to get going. North Carolina Central through the air struck first, but the Hornets came through in the air, got some clutch completions, and turned to their grad running back, Marquise Gillis, for 108 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a road win in the MEAC opener.
It's a new Jack era for Delaware State. 1-0 in league play as the Hornets take the crown and the crown seat within the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. With Ian Unsworth, I'm Jonathan Duran saying so long here from O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium. Delaware State sends the Eagle fans home sad on their homecoming 35-26. All games airing on the ESPN apps are available to watch there. This has been MEAC Football on the MEAC Digital Network and ESPN Plus.